London was recently host to the launch of Arindam Chaudhary's latest brainchild, Indian Power Brands, a Marcom and IIPM think tank initiative.
Indian Power Brands is a salutation to all the companies and brands which are putting India to the world map. Stringent two-phase research across 27 cities in the country defines the Indian Power Brands. We've chosen London as the venue for the first and the special Indian Power Brands because London is not just the melting pot of all cultures, but it is also the epicenter of all business activities worldwide. The electrifying Indian tiger is actually roaring as of today, and we really feel that the companies who have made it into power brands do make a mark worldwide.
This is the session on the topic India Rising. As you all know, India is the 7th largest country by geographical size, the 2nd largest country by population. It's the biggest democracy in the world. It's the 9th biggest country in terms of nominal GDP and the 4th largest country in terms of purchasing power parity. On this planet, if there is any place where there is potential for growth, it is India. And there is no debate that India will become a superpower. But the debate here today is how soon and how good.
India Rising means that we redefine our poverty line to a respectable level so that we do not keep people destitute and call them poor and say that only 26% live below poverty line. India Rising is a dream where we have a poverty line where we accept that today 60% of India lives below that respectable poverty line. We have a vision that in 15 years' time, there would be maybe just 10% or less than that living below poverty line like in China today is. In one stroke, they redefined their poverty line last week by 3 times and they have about 10% living below poverty line. For me, India Rising is a dream where in a little longer run, when I am driving on the streets of Delhi, I should see like the way I see in South Korea. 49 out of the 50 cars on the roads are Korean cars. Not because they are overtly patriotic, not because they're compromising on quality, but because they look wonderful, they're absolutely brilliant in technology, they look good, they deliver quality. For me, India Rising is going beyond just topping the list of billionaires in the world. It's about topping the list of global brands. Is about being extremely proud of buying Indian products, not because I'm compromising on the quality, but knowing that it's a fantastic substitute, and when there is a fantastic Indian substitute, why should I buy an American product or a Japanese product or even a Korean product? We become a nation which, when it becomes rich 25 years later, and when it becomes developed, it is not just appreciated for its products and its brands and its billionaires, but for the contribution it makes to the poorest of poor around the world. How much we have contributed to the survival of the weakest, not just in India, but around the world, and how much we have humanized the entire world with our Indian ethos, culture and values, which talks about world as being a small village.
India was never as dreadful and desperate as it was made out. After all, India has produced enough food to feed itself for the last over 20 years. The Indian entrepreneur, whether in India or abroad, is the best protection India has against what many fear, a new type of economic colonialism.
India has the potential to emerge as the 5th largest consumer market in 2025. Even as we add 12,000 PhDs, 600,000 engineers, and 8.5 million graduates per year mean that more Indians are suitable for global employment. McKinsey Global, in a study, found that 25% of the Indian engineers are employable in MNCs versus 10% Chinese.
10 years from now, the euro probably isn't going to be around. But 10 years from now, India will definitely still continue on its amazing trajectory as a global economic superpower. And India is the best example of one of my favorite sayings, that some people fail because of, and other people succeed in spite of.
You know, there was a time when someone like Henry Kissinger stated that India is a banana republic. And it was in 2006 that the same individual stated that the world needs India. There is a world of opportunity that awaits to ensure that India continues to grow and succeed, where there is accountability and where there is transparency, and where we break down those barriers and build partnerships and trade relations.
We became a part of a presidential campaign in the United States. At that time, the BPO industry was worth less than 400,000 people, purely because of what could happen, because what the Indian mind and the Indian capability could bring to the party. So as India goes from 50 billion to 250 billion on BPO and IT industry, the opportunity of participating in India Rising is huge.
There's all sorts of drama made about communalism versus secularism and so on. I think these are all fake issues. India needs a consensual politics, but a consensual government of the national parties. I do believe, and I long ago argued this, that if only we had Congress and BJP in a super coalition ruling the country, I think India could solve a lot of its problems.
India Rising session was followed by Power Brands Corporate Leadership Awards and Marketing and Communication Awards. It's the evening session and the exciting journey of the Indian Power Brands continues.
Over the last 100 years, Britain's trade with India actually fell from around 12% to 2%. Let's be frank, the environment for doing business in India can be somewhat challenging. In 2008, the BBC sold its outside broadcast unit to a well-known British broadcast company called SIS, a successful bidder for the Commonwealth Games, something that we should be proud of, who did a brilliant job under difficult conditions. However, like many other contractors, they were caught up in political and legal wranglings, and naturally that has a negative impact upon one's experience of trying to do business. But let me end by urging every power brand here tonight to use its influence in a positive and proactive way for India to enhance that special business and historic relationship we have between our two countries. Thank you.
It is my very great pleasure to deliver a personal message on this auspicious occasion from the Prime Minister, David Cameron. Congratulations on the Indian Power Brand Initiative and welcome to London for this important event. When this government took office last year, the decision on where to pay my first overseas visit was an easy one. The potential offered by the UK-India relationship seemed so great that I was determined to get our reinvigorated cooperation off to a flying start. The delegation of cabinet ministers and business people that I led to India was one of the largest assembled by a British Prime Minister in recent decades. and we were delighted by the reception we received. The theme of your conference is India Rising. Whilst governments have an important role, it is the hard work and enterprise of individuals and businesses that will deliver lasting prosperity for both our countries. Whether it is Indian investment in UK manufacturing or the spectacular success of the inaugural Indian Grand Prix as a platform for the finest of British technology, it is clear to me that the dynamism of the business sector will continue to drive India onwards and upwards in the 21st century. We want to be there with you. Welcome to London and to India Rising.
I would like to thank Professor Arindam Chaudhary and the Marcom team for embarking on this fantastic project that celebrates India's most powerful brand.
We at Plan Man are extremely passionate about taking Indian brands up. When last year we launched Power Brands in India, that Power Brand book was full of multinational brands, and it hit us very much because it was not doing justice to India. Everywhere in the world, when brands become big, it's got a lot to do with the government, support, infrastructure, political will, vision, so many things. In India, every entrepreneur is despite governance. And we wanted to have an occasion where we could celebrate Indian brands and make them aspire to become bigger. And now, like some of the brands like Sahara, Tatas, we want many of you more to go up there, flood the list of world brands. If we are 1/5 of the world, then 1/5 of the top 100 brands should be ours. And Cult, the book that we have written together, me and my friend of the last 22 years, Sandeep, is also venture towards that side. It's a guide for CEOs to try and take their organizations right at the top.
Evening also witnessed the launch of the book Cult by Guy Kawasaki, the classic CEO guide on leadership and business strategy, authored by Arindam Chaudhary and A. Sandeep.
I've read this book already, Cult, and Steve Jobs would love this book. He truly would. And so you should be very proud of your accomplishment. I have shipped a few books myself, and there is no greater feeling than shipping a book. Well, other than having children. This is, in a sense, a child. Speaking of the journey as the reward, I had 2 journeys with Steve Jobs. I worked for him from 1983 to 1987 in the Macintosh division, and then 1995 to 1997 I also returned to Apple as chief evangelist. And I will tell you that working for him was truly a privilege and an honor. I learned everything I know about business from him. He pushed me beyond what I ever thought I could accomplish. The world is a sadder place without him. Although I'm sure he's up there and he's telling Krishna or God how to run the universe right now. And I hope you can, as Arindam said, make India into this world-famous brand. I hope you do very well with this book. I think this book is in the same quality of the books of Malcolm Gladwell and Jeffrey Moore and Clayton Christensen and Seth Godin. And congratulations to all you award winners.
Research and development, mergers and acquisitions, innovation, technology, Six Sigma. Every CEO wants to follow these strategies. There's no need to question these strategies. Why? Because all other CEOs follow them. And if you follow any other strategy other than the glamorous sounding strategies, you may well be called eccentric. And that's what Cult questions. Cult brings the truism in front of the corporate world of which strategies work and which don't.
And then came the time to unveil the global superpower edition of the Indian Power Brands by Dr. Ruby Dhalla, Ms. Preeti Patel and Professor Arindam Chaudhary. The event finally concluded with Indian Power Brands Hall of Fame Awards acknowledging the champions of their own fields.
I accept this award on behalf of the wellness industry, and 3 cheers.
I dedicate this to millions of my loyal customers.
I'd like to dedicate this award to my millions of Indian farmers and to the very large multinational chemical companies.
The only brand which has got Guinness Book of Records for making the biggest biryani in the world.
India was always looked upon as a country with a glass half empty. And Power Brands, you've done this at the right time. India is now a country with a glass half full and full of opportunity. So thank you very much.
East India Company ruled India for a long time, and now an Indian and a group of Indians own the East India Company. And therefore I dedicate this award to all those people who worked for 400 years and all the freedom fighters who worked to build India as an independent nation.
This year has been a very important year for motorsport in India, as the message from your Prime Minister, David Cameron, even said. I hope this is a catalyst for the sport to truly grow. The motorsport industry in the UK employs about 40,000 people. We have a long way to go to catch up with that, and I really accept this on behalf of the entire motorsport industry in our country.
Gitandi gave its first brand to the country, India, 20 years before, and today it's a proud owner of nearly 70 brands in jewelry globally.
I dedicate this award to my mother, who raised my brother and I as a single mother. You don't need a famous last name. You don't need a silver spoon. As was said by Walt Disney, that if you have a dream, you can do it.
This award is dedicated to our valued customers. We will always try and innovate new products and world-class products.
Thank you to everyone at Power Brands. Of course, thank you to Arindam. This award is dedicated to the fans of Hindi film, because they really have given us an identity in a time where almost everything else gets swallowed up by movies that are made in one other major country. You know, that they love their films, they love their stars, and they love their language, and that's what keeps the Hindi film brand alive the globe over. Thank you very, very much.
First, I'd like to, thank Power Brands for having us here this evening and for this award. Raw Challenge is a very special team. We've always believed that we are nothing without our fans and our fan base, and everything we do is to try and make our fans happy. Off the field, our activities, we've got one of the highest fan followings in India on all social media platforms, be it on Twitter, Facebook, and on our website. And we've also undertaken a lot of green activity. Bangalore being the garden city, it was only fitting that we did our bit for the environment. And through fan engagement and from all the support and help from our fans, I'm happy to announce that in the next couple of weeks we will get the official certification that Royal Challengers Bangalore will be the world's first ever carbon neutral cricket team.
I'm humbled, I'm honored for this coveted award. I don't know whether I deserve it or not, but with your blessings and good wishes, I'll definitely try to be a deserving candidate in the near future.
The whole initiative which has been brought together by Plan Man, recognizing the brands as Power Brands, so it gives us a lot of strength.
I think it's a great initiative. It's good to showcase what India's best brands are.
It's a good feeling today that I'm here personally.
I'm really, really thankful to Power Brands for inviting me here and giving me this wonderful honor.
This is a great platform to launch it in London.
We launched the Indian Power Brands in London to inspire Indians to think big, to think global, and to make Indian Power Brands something to aspire for